Well, it's working today. Great.
Good.
Okay, now we are live. All right, awesome. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of this great call. This is the Road to Silver call. It's such a, for me, as I recall the time that when we started planning these meetings, the whole purpose was to provide a platform where we can have different members and leaders from around the world who can come on these calls and inspire, motivate, and share the best practices with all the members, especially this call, because this one is a Road to Silver call. It's dedicated for all members who are brand new or those who are not silver yet, who are working their way towards becoming a silver. So it's for me, it feels great because I've been listening to the feedback from the members, and I know that you love these calls. So we are very grateful that we can have so many amazing leaders on these calls to connect with you, to share their real life experiences. Now, everybody, if you have maybe not been aware, but all these calls, we actually record them. If it's not recorded, we place it on Facebook Live there immediately. So when you go on Young Living Thrive Africa group, you will be on Facebook and click under topics, choose education, and all the videos we've done for Facebook Live are there. And so it's this lives. So anytime that you remember a message shared by someone in the past, you can always go back and watch it and be inspired once again. Now, everyone, tonight I feel very honored to welcome our special guest. Her name is Tashna Stokes. I met her last year at the International Grand Convention. I don't know if she remembers that, but
no, I remember because I was invited to the Diamond Dinner and I saw you dancing on the other side and I was like, yes, we are the same. And we ran to each other and gave each other a hug.
Amazing, yeah. So thank you. So Tashna is a silver leader. In fact, within a couple of months, she'll be ranking up to the rank of gold. I do remember when I met her, she just shared with me her passion for Africa, specifically helping Young Living penetrate and go to different countries within Africa and help people to receive our essential oils. So Tashna also works full-time in the automotive industry. She works for one of the global companies in that space, and she has several years experience there. So we have a very multi-talented member here and leader, because she not only brings the business side of things when it comes to Young Living, but also in a professional experience. She is passionate about teaching people. I don't know if you saw on my intro, I mentioned that she also is bilingual. She teaches Young Living, holistic living, and the business opportunity in Spanish. And she has teams in different countries, including Mexico and Ecuador. And she's continually growing, even in the US. You may be, I don't know if you're aware, but in the US, there's a huge population of Latinos. And so she does a lot of work there to empower them and to bring Young Living products. She also has a team in Kenya who are on the call tonight. So without further ado, let me welcome Tashna. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And, I must say that one of the real, things for me that comes to mind, as I just look at your journeys, and I'm interested to learn, is how did you come to learn about Young Living? I mean, please tell us about your journey. How did you start, how it began from the beginning?
Yeah, so if you look at the typical Young Living leaders, I'm probably the furthest thing away from what that would be, right? Because it's usually your homeschool mom. So I am an automotive professional, and I come from the world where we wake up with coffee and we get through the day with a Mountain Dew and an energy drink. And sometimes we're eating a bunch of fast food because we're working 60 hours a week. And so I actually got to the point, being relatively young in my 30s, where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So from 2012 to 2015, I was riddled with all types of illnesses. So I was in two accidents in a period of 1 year. I had hormone issues. I never could breathe my entire life. I always had allergies. I developed high blood pressure from stress. So I was on 7 medications, and I just got to the point in the summer of 2014 where I was like, this is not normal. I have to find another way. So I started Googling my way to good health. I obviously started exercising. So I started doing 5Ks to force myself to exercise. I did a boot camp. At the time I was like 190 pounds. So I lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks with this boot camp. I started eating right. No more fast food. Like all I eat now is egg whites and greens in the morning, and make sure I have a salad every day, and then splurge on the weekends. And then I'd started buying all these vitamins from Amazon and the vitamin stores, and they were big rock vitamins for hormones and all this stuff, and nothing was really working. And at the same time, I had a bunch of friends who were doing oils, and they're on Facebook and they're diffusing lavender and it smells amazing. And I'm like, whatever, they're just trying to sell me something. And then I did get a couple of oils from Amazon that didn't work. So in my head, I thought oils don't work. But one of the things I was also experiencing, because I was so sick at the time, was I had became very introverted. So I wasn't associating with people as much as I wanted to. So I had a friend who had a home party in January of 2015. And I went just to support her with the idea in my head that I was not going to buy anything because oils obviously do not work. So I went there. Panaway was placed on my body for some tension I had on my neck. And I was like, this is different. This is what I need. This is what I've been looking for. My sister and my stepmom, they're kind of into these little oil and fun stuff. They're going to want to do this. And I booked my home party before I even bought my kit. I didn't have $200 to buy my kit that night. I went home, stocked the website, and I was like, this is kind of like health. I'm just going to use my health savings card to get it. I bought my kit. I had my first home party within 30 days. I was executive within the first year. I hit silver for the first time in the second year. And then I went to silver retreat and stabilized silver within my third year, and have been sharing ever since.
Wow, incredible. And
Yep.
I mean, what helped you with the transition? I know you mentioned, the oil thing wasn't for you, but what really helped you to start embracing? Did you see results immediately as you started?
Yes. So Panaway helped me with the tension I had. I actually ended up having to have a surgery for my hormone issues to stabilize me. And they told me, it's going to come back. You're never going to be okay. You're going to have to wait till you get to menopause. I'm like, oh, that's a long time from now. I'm nowhere close to that. That can't be right. So like Panaway was my first love. Ninja Red changed my life when it came to like all of my allergies and just having energy and stabilizing the minerals in my body. And then the emotional oils, I've been through a lot in the past 5 years as well. The emotional oils helped me as well. So the results that I got in that first month was like, these are plants. And when you look at it, it's plants. It's what God has given us. And it's the best thing for me at this point in time. I don't take medication for anything. I don't even have Excedrin in my house. I have no medication because everything our health can be maximized by just using the amazing plants and superfruits that we have.
Thank you. Now, I love that you talk about plants because not long ago, in fact, when I met you in the US, one of the things that I was invited to, which you invited me to, was a meeting where there was some leaders, some diamonds, African American diamonds, and some members, where the big talk was around there's a lot of people are skeptical about essential oils. Especially in African American and also even here in Africa. I know that a lot of people are very skeptical. They like, no, what is this thing? It's from China, type of thing. So, I mean, how do you, because I know this is something you're passionate about and something you do. I even watched a video that you shared with me about how, African American people, people that are really skeptical about essential oil? What do you do to actually educate them and help them to understand, as you have already said, that it's actually, these are plants, and what do you use? What do you say? How do you help and convince people like that?
Definitely use the language that people already know, right? So you're going to start with the most familiar. So that's going to be peppermint. Everybody's heard of peppermint tea, right? Lavender. Most people have heard of lavender. And there's just a lot of other things. I do the research to see what we have, because there's a lot of things that are actually very popular, especially in the United States. Young Living has it. I promise you, Young Living has it. If you see one of your friends on Facebook and they're talking about this new herb, I promise you Young Living has it, especially here in the States. So start with the familiar and just go from there. Share slowly and love them where they are.
Yeah, thank you. And I think something you've already mentioned is, at first it was all about health and wellness. That's what you wanted. But as you look back at your journey all the way when you reached the rank of silver, what would you say has driven you? I mean, what does drive you?
Number one, I'm working for my freedom. That's why, my plan is to be gold in August and platinum 6 months later, then I'll be able to quit my job. But to be able to empower other people as well, because my job is very specialized. I am a bilingual facilities manager, and I have a very flexible job. And people will come to me and they'll say, hey, is there a way you can get me into that company? Probably not. It's not really easy for me to coach someone to be a bilingual facilities manager, but I can coach other people to share oils. I can empower other people to create their own businesses. And so my passion is to diffuse this across Africa, diffuse this across a lot of the countries that don't have those opportunities, and to help my friends and family achieve freedom. And just even for me at the rank of silver, the additional income that is given me to do so much more is just astronomical. Like I was furloughed from my job for 6 weeks because of this situation, and I had to get reduced pay. I had no one warned me about it. It just happened within 4 days. But because of my Young Living check, I didn't even feel it. Like whatever that pay cut was, my team immediately started growing, and the increase in my paycheck covered what my income was cut. So I was so grateful for that. And then I'm always able to buy all the new products and let my team see them. And I've been able to travel all over the world, tax deductible, because of so my life has completely changed even at the silver level. And that's why I'm confident that within the next 8 months, when I get to the platinum level, I'll have my personal freedom.
That's amazing. And I know that a lot of people that I talk to who are here in South Africa really see Young Living as an opportunity to really have financial freedom. And that's how network marketing is, right? It's such a great vehicle that enables you to achieve your dreams, provided that you, with the right company, with the right brand, and at the same time that the compensation plan is generous. Now, speaking about that, I mean, did you immediately, I know that you had your own class within the first, month, right? First 30 days, you had your first class. Did you immediately say to yourself, you really want to build a business immediately? I mean, what led you to get to the point where you said, this is what I'll do, and I want to build financial freedom through Young Living?
So yes and no, because I had been previously in network marketing companies before, and I didn't have any success. And so part of my brain, I had no negative feelings towards network marketing. I thought it doesn't work for me. Like the systems, the going to the hotel, it doesn't work for me. I read the cash flow quadrant, and I believed that you need to have something else. And so in my head, I thought I was going to do real estate eventually, right? That was what I was going to do. And that day never came. So when I started to share in February, I knew that I was going to share this. I knew that I had to share this. I knew this was so different. I knew that nobody in my circle knew about it and that I had to share it. But I didn't necessarily jump into the comp plan. Like when I had my people at my home party, my upline was like, okay, you got to put this person here and you need to do this and that person wants to order. Like, I didn't have any concept of what I was actually doing. I just did it. And so once I saw my upline, she was actually executive at the time. She was running for silver. It probably took me maybe like 3 months to be like, yes, I'm going to hit senior star and this is my goals. But I did start sharing immediately. And then once I was like executive, that's when it was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace my day job with this. This is going to be my career because I can bless so many people at the same time doing it.
Mm-hmm. And you know, maybe as a writer to that, I just want to know, I know you mentioned something about the fact that it was hard for you because one side of you was skeptical because of your previous failures in the industry. But you learned, I love that quatrain from Robert Kiyosaki, because it's such a great book, and it teaches so many great principles around business and the different types of businesses and how you can really, being an investor, you can actually grow a fortune for yourself. Now, tell me about your mindset, right? When you really, within those few months, when you started to say, you know what, I really want to do this. What role do you think your mindset had in your success as you look back at your journey?
Developing a hunger for knowledge. That was definitely, especially coming from the point of thinking, I am not built for network marketing. I have failed it in the past. I immediately became a student. Like, I would, if somebody said, this is a business book that you need, I would read it immediately. So the 4-Year Career, GoPro by Eric Worre, I would go onto Eric Worre's website in the morning and I would do 30 minutes of one of his videos while I was getting ready. So I consumed as much content as I could, and that's what helped me have the confidence to actually share.
Thank you. And I love the hunger for learning, because you need to have that. Without it, you won't actually succeed. Now, along with that, when you look at your success and how you've gotten to this point where you can even confidently say, within a few months, I'm going to hit this rank and that rank. I mean, that takes a lot of confidence, but it also takes knowing, right? Because you know what you've done, you know what works. What would you say are the biggest success factors that have helped you to get to this point?
Definitely focusing on other people. It's a business, but it's based on helping other people. So the more that you can build those relationships, the more that you can get to know people, the more that you can show appreciation, the more successful you will be, as well as making sure you do personal development daily. It is not an option. You have to do personal development daily, and you have to be consistent. So a lot of people will do the business, and I have it a little bit in my presentation. Sometimes you have to have a schedule, you have to be consistent, and you have to do things on a daily basis.
Thank you so much. And as you go back, and I'm taking you back a lot now to your beginning years, but as you look back, what would you do differently? If you were to go back in time through a time machine, and you go back to the time when you learned about Young Living, what would you do differently to help you to be better and to do things in a way that's more efficient and that's more beneficial for you and others?
I would work harder on any of the negative thoughts that I have. So I still, despite all the things I did, I still had some blocks. So for example, I did not share in Spanish for 2 years because I thought, I didn't start learning Spanish till I was 11. We don't have the tools. I'm not the one. I'm just going to wait for the diamonds to create the stuff. And when I have the tools, then I'm going to share. And 2 years went by and nothing really changed. And then I went to the Latin American convention and I heard some information that was like, okay, you have to share. So I would work even harder to get rid of any of the negative voices or the negativity. And I would always have a coach. There's been periods in my business where I wasn't actively doing check-ins with someone. And those were the periods in my business where I stagnated, because certain personalities, we can convince ourselves that our excuses are real. And you need to check in with someone and look at data to make sure, is this true or is this an excuse? And if it's an excuse, how can we work through it?
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And I do believe very strongly that I think the genius to anything in life is that you have to spend time analyzing what you've done, right? You always have to look backward as you plan for the future and learn from your mistakes so that you can do much, much better. Now, one of the things that I think is a topic that every member, every team talks about is around having a balance in your team between business builders and product users, right? Or just customers. And it's
Yes.
a big one. I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you go about in your business? Do you look for business builders only, or do you look for product users? What is your formula?
I look for product users. So I believe that everyone will share if they have their aha moment. And so your focus is to educate people until they have their aha moment. For me, fortunately, I had my aha moment at my first home party. That's the reason why I shared. So it is my job to get everyone to that aha moment. So products education is key. Like, you have to be doing product education. And for my team, we have product education on a weekly basis and at least twice a month in Spanish. Product education and on the basics, oils, and then you throw in Ninja and you throw in a little bit of other stuff. But with my team, like for example, in Spanish, we have like a monthly challenge and it's all about the products. And once you get people educated and they get them to the aha moment, then they start casually sharing. And then once they start casually sharing, as the leader, you go to them and say, hey, I noticed you showed up to this, or I noticed that you signed up 2 people. Would you be interested in formalizing this? And if they say yes, then you just create a core group of people where they get that business training. So like yesterday, I did my mid-month check-in with some of my leaders. Where are you guys at? How many convention tickets do we have? What are we doing? What do you need help with? So you just create that small core group of people. And that small core group of people are also the people that are going to help you educate the rest of the team, because education has to come from different voices for it to reach everybody.
And it's interesting. I love the comment from Carrie. She's saying, when you love the products, your people will want to share. That's so true. And that's something that you mentioned. And it's a phrase that's often used in network marketing, that you must be the product of the product. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I would love for you to labor more on that point, because I do believe that it's such a critical aspect to having a successful business.
Yes, you have to be. I have an entire video that I did on my YouTube channel about sharing on the go and sharing naturally. And one of the ways that I do that is by being a product of the product. Like, I have everything Young Living. Like, I'm sitting here in front of my computer and I have like 7,000 oils in front of me, right? I put like all the emotional oils. I have oils all over here. Every single product line that Young Living has in the United States, I have it. Like, I have one of my downlines, she's a star, and we exchanged something. So to get her to convention, she gave me cleaning services. So she came over my house and she was just like, you have everything Young Living. Like, yes, I have everything. Did you guys know in the United States, we have cookware? I have Young Living pots and pans. I literally have Young Living everything. I walk around with this bag. How do you share on the go? Well, people see my oil. This is my purse with the oils in it. I have my Ninja Red. I gift oils. Like, I have to send out a graduation gift. The boy is going to get a basketball shirt and an Active and Fit clip. Like, I have everything Young Living. I have on a Savvy makeup. This is Savvy makeup. Like, everything is Young Living. So it's easy to share, because when somebody asks me, oh my goodness, your makeup is on point. Yep, this is Savvy. So like, if you're just using the products and people compliment you, it's easy to share.
Thank you so much. And So, in the way that, a lot of people will ask this question on this call. I mean, when you talk to people for the first time and you're prospecting, what are some of the things that you normally do and that you've seen work and lead you to, more people enrolling or becoming members of Young Living?
Asking open-ended questions. We have to find what their needs are. So I am a social gregarious person, and so I connect with people on a daily basis. But like even during this period, there's been a lot of people that I've connected with and thankfully have reached out to me and asked, how are you guys doing in the United States? Because this happened and this happened. And when I'm sharing with them, I tell them, well, yep, this is happening, but I'm not even worried about what's going on because I'm a holistic wellness coach and I have all these tools. And you just leave it there and you let them give you an invitation. And that's led to a lot of people just asking me questions. So asking them questions about how they are, they'll ask you questions and just wait for the invitation and keep building the relationship in the meantime.
Yeah, thank you so much. And the topic for the day is the power of influence. And I think it's such a very important topic, especially because in this business, it's about relationships. You're always interacting with people and it's all about influence. And I know that you have a presentation you'd like to share.
Yes.
Please go ahead and around the power of influence and what we can do to harness that power.
Okay, you want me to go through the whole presentation right now?
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, please.
Okay.
It's really up to you. Yeah.
Okay. So I do have a little bit of extra information in here because I wanted, when I got invited to this call, I also wanted to stress with people how simple it is to do what we do. And I want to share a little bit more of my story with you guys. What we do is hard. It is very, very hard because it takes some things that we don't usually do, but it's very simple. So we already shared my story. So a couple things three things that I repeat all the time to people that are trying to move on is we need to show up, first of all. And so these are a couple quotes that I like here. Show up even when you don't feel like it. And no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. So here's the things that we have to do under that category. You have to show up for your business, not sometimes, but part-time. So that was something that I already mentioned. But again, when you're an employee, somebody tells you when to come to work. They tell you when you can take a break. They tell you when you can have lunch. When you run your own business, you don't have that. So what people tend to do is to work their business when they feel like it, but that doesn't work. You have to say, I am going to work my business 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 15 hours a week, and set your own schedule. You also have to show up using your products every day. We just talked about that. Being a product of the product. So if you are on this call and you don't yet have products, your job is to get with the person that invited you. And how can we come up with a creative way to do this? We know that right now some people are not working. What can we do creatively to help me get these products and get them started? And if you're on this call, which is a business builder call, and you're not on Essential Rewards, same thing. You need to get with the person that you work with and say, what can I do? Can you help me work my budget in order to get on Essential Rewards? Because if you're not on Essential Rewards, you're not building a business because you can't be a product of the product. So have a schedule, show up for training. So like these calls are created for you to build your business. Me, I have so much training I have to show up with. So I can do some, but not all of it, but I do as much as I can. So 1% of my team is in Africa. So once a week I show up for Africa calls. 15% of my team is in Latin America. So once a week I show up for Latin American calls. And I have a really busy schedule, but you have to show up for your training to succeed and share every single day. Whether it is, right now we're all in house, right? So if I was going to the store, I would have my bag, people would see me, But right now I'm sharing every single day on social media, something, and participate in self-development and mindset training every day. And then speak up. So after showing up, you also have to speak up. Where'd my mouse go? So this is just an example of one of the times that I spoke up. So if you haven't been with Young Living a long time or never gone to a convention, you might not recognize a lot of people in the front row. But so using my skills here at one of the rallies in Michigan, Diamond Shannon Hudson, who's on the right, that she's like getting up there, she asked, does anyone have any topic to share at our rally? These are like huge events with 1,200 tickets sold. And as Sandy Lynn mentioned, I have 15 years of experience in training. And so I came up with a topic and I raised my hand and I said, I can share. Now, when I said I was going to share at this rally, I didn't know that I would be sharing the stage with mostly diamonds. So like Doc Ollie, Sarah Harnish, Susan Richardson, these were the people that I was sharing the stage with. I was the lowest ranking person on the stage there. And the other people that were like golds, even they were authors. I was the only one that didn't write several books. But because I spoke up, people got value out of what I had to share. There were plenty of people where they're like, I never heard that before. That was so valuable. So I want you guys to understand it doesn't matter where you are or what rank you're at. If you have something valuable to share, you need to speak up. So the things that are going to drive your business to do that, again, speak about the products every day, speak about the opportunity regularly, ask for help regularly. We talked about that. Make sure you have check-ins. It's your job to do the check-ins. Remember, your upline is working with 50, 100, 150, 250, depending on what rank they are, people. It's your job to ask them for help. Ask for support regularly. Invite to classes regularly. If your upline is providing classes, don't go by yourself. Bring people with you and share your gifts regularly. Whatever your gifts are, if it's speaking or teaching or putting together gifts, share your gifts regularly. And then rank up. This is your path to success. Silverbound is your path to success. And ranking up means helping other people. So whatever rank you're going for, if you're going for star, that means you want to sign up 2 people in one leg and 2 people in another leg, and you can go get all the training on this. But if you're going for senior star, how can I help 4 people get star? If you're going for an executive, how can I help 2 people get senior star? And so on and so on. You rank up not by just setting those goals, but by blessing other people with your gifts, helping them, seeing where they need help at. And then these are the 5 levels of leadership. And so this is what we were talking about when it comes to the power of influence. So in the traditional world, we will have a position, but that doesn't happen in Young Living. So the way that we influence other people in Young Living is at the permission level. So like we already stated, relationships. People will follow you because they want to. So the more value you provide, the more you find a need, the more you build relationships, the more influence you will actually have. And everyone has that influence. It doesn't matter what level you're at. You have influence with people at work, people in your family. You just have to ask the questions, find the need, show appreciation, build that relationship, and you will have influence over them. You do that for a while and you can get to like executive and silver, and then you'll reach the production level of influence. That's when people will start to follow you because of what you've done. So because you're an executive and you've shown that you've been able to help other people, or because you're a silver and you've shown that you've been able to help other people, you can then get results because of what you have done. And then you reach the people development. So you start to create additional leaders. Once you're silver and you create, or a gold and you create other executives and silvers, then you're able to influence people from the people development level. And really the pinnacle one where people just follow you because of respect, that's like diamond and above. But do not dismiss the permission level. You do not have to have a rank to be at the permission level. You can influence people at the permission level if you find a need, if you bless them, and if you use your gifts. And with that, so I want to share this slide with you. So this is the event that Sandalay has mentioned several times, which was our first African American empowerment. And your story matters. So there are so many things, as was in my bio. I was the curator and the moderator of this. And there's so many things that could have told me I'm not the person to do this. All of those people in the front row, again, you guys probably don't know them if you haven't been around a while, but there's Todd and Lauren Walker. Stevie Baggs is one of our influencers. He was not my friend on Facebook. There's all the diamonds. I had never had a conversation with Jeffrey Lewis. I had never had a conversation with the Daryl Jordan, with Karen Douglas, all of these people. The majority of them did not know me. They did not know me. But I had a conversation 8 weeks prior to last year's convention with Todd and Lauren. And I said, this is what we need. And this is what we need to make happen. And I went into our groups and I said, guys, I need your help. We need to go to corporate and we need to tell them that we need this event. And whatever you need to do to make it happen, we're going to show up somewhere and you got to find a place for us. And within 8 weeks, we made this happen. And so this right here literally is the power of influence. I could have thought, I'm a silver, who's going to listen to me? I could have thought, I'm not even the actual admin of the group that does this. It's not my job. I should tell somebody else to do it. But I knew that there was a need for this event. I knew that people had to hear this information. And I said, because I'm an influencer, I'm going to get this done. And it was just a fabulous and amazing event. And so there was 2 quotes that just literally drove me to continue to do this. The one quote was, when I was in Latin American Convention a couple years ago, I heard Lindsay Teague Moreno say, somebody has to go first so that everyone else can say me too. So yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. It's not always easy, but somebody has to do the hard. Somebody has to do it. And then I listened to John Maxwell and Leadership. And at the end of his book, he had lots of other influencers. One of them was Trent Shelton. And he said, you have to be ready to walk through a door that doesn't even exist. And that just drove me. When we decided this, we talked about focus group. I didn't even know what it was going to look like when I said we had to have this, but we just brainstormed and we had conversation. And then I was like, oh, we can run it like a rally. We can run it like Latin American does. And it just came together. So I implore everyone where you are. I know in Nigeria, it's difficult right now. In Ghana, it's difficult right now. In Botswana, it's difficult right now. In Kenya, all the countries that aren't even enhanced NFR, I know it's difficult. I know it's really, really difficult. But somebody has to go first so that everybody else can say me too. And if you do that, you can be an influencer and you can have a room full of this within 6 months if you decide make that decision. And then just the last thing that I wanted to share with everyone. So in summary, show up, speak up, rank up. That is how you're going to be an influencer. That is how you're going to harness the power of influence. But sometimes things are not going to go as fast as you want. Sometimes things are just not going to be easy. And that's okay. And when it doesn't, I always remember the parable of the Chinese bamboo tree. So you can go on YouTube and you can find a really quick version of Les Brown stating this, but basically it's that the bamboo tree does not grow very high within the first 5 years, but then it grows to a huge tree that you can see on the left-hand side in the 5th year. So sometimes we are in the growth stage. So as long as we are getting that self-development, we're showing up, we're doing the right stuff, Maybe we're not seeing the results as fast as we want, but we're growing roots. So I had lots of fast growth, and then I had a little bit of plateau, and now I'm growing again. That's okay, because what I was doing in that period where I was not growing is I was developing the skills to lead countries. That's what I was doing. I was not growing because I wasn't ready to lead in Africa and South America. I was getting all the skills that I need to be able to grow. And so if this last year you haven't done all the things, that's okay. That was your growth period. Decide today. Decide today to show up, speak up, and rank up. And that was my presentation for you guys. This is how to connect with me. I will throw some of these into the chat. So I would love for you guys to follow me on YouTube, to follow me on Instagram, and on my Facebook page. So I do all types of open classes, again, in Spanish. We do some targeted to the African markets. I have all types of content, and all my content is always available to everyone. So again, I will drop these in the chat to make it easy for you to just grab those and follow me. And with that, I will stop sharing. And if I still have time left and anyone has any questions, you can feel free to ask questions.
Excellent presentation, Tashina. Thank you so much. A question I had was, in the course of your week, in what ways, I guess, on what platforms are you typically sharing?
So when I wake up in the morning, I usually am playing catch up on Facebook. So on Facebook, I try to make sure that I am interacting with people, because that's how you develop relationships. So people who have responded to my stories or have sent me something, I respond to them. And I always try to make one engaging post per day. And so I go back and I comment on all of the engaging posts. So that usually takes probably about 30 minutes. Then in the evenings is when I choose to catch up on Instagram. So I make sure that I do 1 or 2 posts on Instagram, and I kind of have somewhat a little bit of a schedule, like I do a Monday motivation. So last night I already know what quotes and Monday motivation I'm going to do, and it's the same thing, right? So I check people's stories and I respond to their stories because I have to respond to them in order to get them to interact with me. I go to my posts and see who has liked and who has commented, and I respond to all those comments, and I do that in the evening. And then on my scheduled days, I would have a class. So usually Tuesdays we have a class. And then Fridays, I do a Feel Good Friday in English and Spanish. So that puts me content in lives on Instagram and Facebook, and then it creates content for my YouTube. So those are the things that I do on a weekly basis in order to share.
Awesome, thank you.
You know, Tashna, for me, as I was listening to your presentation, one of the things that I felt like that was common in what you were saying is that influence is not about title. I think that's such an important thing, right? And
yes.
It's so important. And also, along with that, you know, in what we are doing, if you think about it, network marketing, no one works for you. You don't physically pay them yourself, so they're not your employees. And so what can, because I know this is, I mean, I have, let me just show you something I just found here from, you know, one thing that you reminded me of is a book by Robin Sharma. I don't know if everyone is aware, but it's called The Leader Without a Title. So he came up with a manifesto around this, the leader without a title. And he says, leadership is less about the position you hold than the influence you have. It's about doing world-class work, playing at your peak, and leaving people better than you found them. It's about leading without a title. And then he also says here, which I like, he says, leadership is no longer about position, but passion. It's no longer about image, but impact. This is leadership 2.0. And you know, I think we have some time now. I would really love you to kind of speak more on that, because I think it's so easy to think that even though you enroll people, they're in your team, that, sometimes you think that automatically they'll just fall in line, right? But
Yes.
you have to build that influence. I mean, can you share, Pat, I know you shared a lot of things now, which are very helpful and I think are very inspirational, but what can our leaders in South Africa start doing or even stop doing so that they can really increase that influence, where members in their teams follow them, not just because of their upline, but they follow them because they want to follow them, they respect them, and they're influenced by them in such a positive way that makes their lives better?
Number one is ask more questions. So one of the things that I do with my team, I have a new member like survey that I do. And so in that new member survey, I ask, how do you want me to contact you? What things that you want to learn about? What is the best way that you learn? So as a leader, we have to be efficient and we have to have our whatever modalities of communication that we have, but we may find that some of our people need something different. And we have to leverage and automate it. But if my people tell me they need emails, that's not usually which is the case in my survey, 50% of the people actually said they wanted emails. That's not usually what people do in Young Living, right? So now I have to create a newsletter because that's what my team needs. So I can't force everyone into a Facebook group if they're telling me that they want emails. So those are the type of things that, like, asking questions, making sure that you do wellness consultations. So I don't know if you guys have seen, like, you guys have the Rise brochure, plus there's on the website, there is like a new member checklist. So the more questions that you can ask and the more problems you can solve and the more needs you can fill, the more influence you will have.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, I love that. That's so simple, but it's so profound, because at the end of the day, when people join this, they have an expectation, right? And if you don't understand those expectations, you cannot meet them. So thank you. I really love that. And I think coupled with that, I think one of the things for me that is crucial in leadership, which I've learned over the years, is that there has to be a level of trust in you.
Yes.
Yes. What has worked for you in building trust in your team and in everyone that you've worked with?
Making sure that you meet your commitments and making sure that you lead by example. So what happens very frequently, you get to executive, you get to silver, you can very easily switch into management mode where you're actually telling people what to do rather than modeling and participating. So it's really important for me, again, part of the showing up, right? Like, I can't continue to tell my team in Africa, show up, show up, show up, show up, and then me not show up for 3 months. Like, I have to, obviously it's going to be different for me, but I have to show up some of the time. I personally have to create content for Mexico and Ecuador and Africa, because I can't just tell them to do it. And when they see me doing it, then they trust, okay, this is the way that you have to do it. Oh, it's show up, speak up, and then rank up. That's what I preach all the time to people. And so modeling, doing what you're going to say, you displaying consistency displays trust, especially when you're dealing with a person that is new and they're not necessarily consistent. You have to be the one to model that consistency. When they come back to you finally after they've disappeared for 2 months because they've had a family problem and you don't respond to them within a reasonable amount of time, that's going to break the trust.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Show up, speak up, and rank up. I think another thing with that, and I think you model that very well, Tashna, is this self-belief, that you can do anything.
Yes.
And I absolutely appreciate that about you. And I also realize that you need to have this. It's almost like a superpower each business builder has to develop in order to be successful. Yes. In business. Any advice there on that and what members can do to build that self-confidence in themselves?
So definitely the self-development. When I wake up in the morning, I listen to my positive affirmations and I listen to positive religious music and I read a scripture. So you have to set your mind right. You have to do that every morning. And then you also have to do things scared. You develop confidence in action. Like I did a lot of stuff scared for a long time. The first time that I did a live without a script in Spanish, I almost did not post it. I was like, I have too many grammatical errors. I can't do this. And I just pressed post and I posted it. And in the live, I actually said something like, I love it when people tell me that they saw my stuff, and someone literally the next morning told me that, like they gave me a hug. So like the universe will reward you when you do stuff scared. I promise you, the universe will reward you when you do stuff scared. It's never as bad as you thought. And I have never regretted doing things scared, ever. I have regretted not doing things. I regret not going to the convention in 2015. I regret not going to the first Latin American convention in 2017. I would probably already be platinum by now if I would have done that. I regret that, but I was scared to go to Silver Retreat by myself. I was scared to go to the 2018 convention by myself because part of my story over this past 5 years is I went through a messy divorce. So I was not planning on traveling by myself ever. I was scared to go on the cruise, but if I didn't go on the cruise last year by myself, I bought the ticket. I didn't know who I was going to stay with. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd never traveled to the other side of the country by myself. I did it scared. And if I would have not gone to that cruise, I wouldn't have talked to Todd and Lauren. I wouldn't have had lunch with them, and the African American Empowerment Lunch would have never happened. So first of all, do it scared until you have that muscle, but put positive in your mind so that you're able to do the actions that you need to do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You know, I love how raw and vulnerable you are with us, because I think a lot of times, you know, in these type of situations where you are invited to be a speaker, sometimes people try to hide their vulnerabilities, and I love how you've shown them, because we humans, you know, we have weaknesses, we've got insecurities. Thank you. Thanks for expressing that.
Yeah,
now,
like when I reread my bio, I was like, man, I sound really good on paper. But yeah, I need to share what the truth is. Like, yes, I'm at this level 5 years later, but year one, I wasn't like this. And year two, I wasn't like this. And year three, I wasn't like this. And so start where you are and just move forward.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And I think it's interesting how what you've done today is you told us your beginning. And one of the things I remember, you said you were in not a good position yourself, emotionally and otherwise. And you also mentioned how Young Living has impacted your life in that way. I mean, as we finish here, what are some of the routines? I know you mentioned reading the scriptures, reading some words of inspiration. You know, can you share maybe a couple of things that you do as a routine in terms of health and wellness, especially emotional wellness, that you can recommend for our members here? Because I know this is a very difficult time. You know that in the US, it's even worse at the moment with all that is happening. In South Africa, we are struggling with the problem of femicide. And it's such a disappointing thing for us. I mean, I'm a father of girls. I've got 2 girls, and of course my wife. I love my wife. We've been married almost 10 years now. I mean, my mother, I was raised by her. So women mean a lot to me. And in this business, we have a lot of women. But you know, what are some of the things you could share with our members to really help them this time as they try to be positive and focused and to have the strength to, you know, to kind of prevail over what's going on around us?
Yeah, so always have your diffuser going. So I have my diffuser, and I've been really stressing like the emotional oils right now. So I know we have a lot more oils than you guys do, but one thing I would use like Joy or my Citrus Fresh or I don't know if you guys have abundance, like I have abundance in there right now. So on a normal day, I might have some of my favorite stuff, but literally I almost always have emotional oils in my diffuser running 24/7 with everything that I'm going through. And then when I wake up in the morning for my health, I do a detox drink, and I can I can grab the video and post it for you guys in here, but it's actually apple cider vinegar, honey, half of a squeezed lemon, and then 1 drop of lemon vitality and Fees vitality for those countries that can use vitality oils. Otherwise, you would use it according to the directions where you are. So I do that for my immune system. Definitely have Raven that I use on a regular basis for healthy respiratory support. And then I also must have my Ninja Red. One of the things that I do add to my Ninja Red on a regular basis is Endoflex, which you guys now have, because that does support my endocrine system. So Ninja Red is a must that I must have in the morning. And then again, just here we have all the other products too. So I'm basically just rubbing oils all on my body because I'm using our massage oil or our lotion. So or our body wash. So I have all those benefits too, being here in the States. But those are definitely 3 must-have things that I do. Like right now, it's emotional oils. Like if it was another time, I might have like Raven or RC or something different, but I'm like almost always diffusing my emotional oils just so that I can stay up with whatever I might see on Facebook. And then my Thieves, having that every morning, and my Ninja with Endoflex.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tashna. I've absolutely loved having you on this call, and I see a lot of comments, members saying, this was so inspirational. Thank you so much. This has been a great call. Thank you for starting off our week with your wisdom, with your stories, and with I loved your presentation as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, be sure to follow me. Yeah, and any help you need, everyone knows that I'm always willing to spend 15 minutes to an hour with anyone that needs any type of help. And as you guys are growing, I hope to visit South Africa in December because all of my other trips have been canceled. So I have vacation days now. So I really hope to come visit you guys in December and maybe hit up a couple other countries after that. But I do want to spend a week with you guys in December if we're able to travel down there in South Africa. So I hope to see you guys all in person.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. We love you. We can't wait to have you in the country. It looks like things are normalizing now. Hopefully, this COVID-19 and the restrictions will end with time. But thank you so much for being on the call.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, goodbye. I just wanted to say, as we close, we just have a couple of minutes. And, for me, what really is in my mind, and also in our company's mind, I don't know if you saw recently, we released a statement about how Young Living is, one of the things we do is we love everyone, regardless of race and color or creed. And Young Living is a family for everybody. When Young Living was created through our founders, Mary and Gary Young, it was created to bring essential oils to every single home, everybody. And as I think about what's happening in the world, all the mayhem, it's so great to be part of a movement that not only brings positivity, but also that doesn't have any discrimination. And so as you look into what's happening now, it's so nice to be part of such a great family, because it is a family. As you see on these calls, we have people from all around the world. And it's interesting, even when you go to convention, which I had a chance to go to, you see people from everywhere, and you see all the different flags, and that's Young Living. It's more than just a Rainbow Nation, but it's everybody. I see there's someone from Canada here. Hello, Canada. And so, for me, let's spread love, everyone. Let's spread kindness. Let's spread goodness around us. Let us defeat the hate that we find in our streets, even on the Twitter streets. Let's spread positivity. Let's lift one another. Let us be the change we want to see in the world. This is our time, and I think we have an opportunity to do that. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you for being on this call. Thank you. We'll see you again on the next call. Enjoy your week.
Bye. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.